Hey guys, it's Callus with the live narration of Shortage and Roro in the lower bracket of Callus Invitational 5. As you guys know, with it being lower bracket, you lose here, you are out, and it is a lead jinx for Roro. That's McMegan on the top, Shortage, Roy Stoproar on the bottom, gets his Celebi killed, and he has a Dugtrio switch to kill Jinx, so it results in a trade. Now Zapdos coming into Dougie, and we've got ourselves a pause. So, looking back on their round one matchups, Shortage against Posse G. Honestly, Shortage didn't look good in that at all. Yes, he got unlucky, but he really got tossed around and outclassed. Posse just looked better. Shortage looked very rusty after a quiet year. Roro, on the other hand, has been playing very consistently, as he usually does. He's a year-round player. He played against Johnny G2, who's now 2-0 in this tournament, and had a hard-fought three-game set, but didn't get there. And, I mean, there have been a lot of upsets in this tour. There have been, I can't believe some of the players that are in the lower bracket or that are already eliminated. It's been a really wild tour as far as hacks and predictions. And it really, I mean, it shows the parity in ADV. It really shows that the good players can all beat each other and compete with each other. But this is a matchup you've got to think on paper Roro is favored to win. Anybody can beat anybody, as we know and as we've seen, but this is a tough pairing for Shortage. He had a tough opponent in Posse, and now a tough opponent in Roro, and now back-to-back Hypnosis misses against the Zapdos, also obnoxious for him. So, yeah, I mean, the luck was not cooperative for him in the opening round, and so far, very early on, Game 1, Round 2, of this series, it doesn't seem to be improving. The double Hypno miss, I mean, mathematically that's not super likely, but it's just going to happen. 60-40 accuracy, man. You're going to miss a lot of the time, and that is just the way it goes. So what do you do now? I mean, you've got to think other than Dugtrio. You have, I mean, I guess it was the Celebi, but some kind of electric resist or immunity, right? Is he just boned by a Zapdos behind a sub already? Is that where we are? Just, oh, well, I guess I lose. I need to hit those Hypnosis. Be pretty shaky if so for Roar or for Shortage. Has not gotten there on the Hypnos. Yeah, and Shortage deep in the think tank already. And he's just going to blow up. He's that Zapdos vulnerable, apparently. And his follow-up is going to be Dugtrio into Zapdos. I don't know about all that. Yeah, Roro just going to go for the obvious. Just go to his own Dugtrio, which is an obligatory partner with Jinx. And Shortage not even a little bit able to anticipate that. Just getting outplayed. I mean, it just looks like he doesn't belong. What I would have loved to have seen there from Shortage, the master play, is to go to the Dugtrio and then just click Earthquake. Represent Rock Slide like a boss, bait in the Dugtrio play that McMegan made, and then just click fucking Earthquake and kill the other Doug. That would have been brilliant. But he's not able to do that, and a massively hacksy turn on the backswing here. Toxic Miss and Ice Beam freeze. Now Shortage getting some luck that he definitely needs in this situation, being behind 5-3 very early on in this game, but I got to tell you, I mean, I was really high on Shortage last year, and at the beginning of this tournament. I said he was one of the better dark horse candidates and someone I really believe in. He's someone that I've talked privately throughout the year about if I get to manage SPL again. He's someone I would very seriously consider as my ADV starter, but I'm really not feeling that way right now. I'm just not impressed with the play. I don't know if he's just rusty or doesn't care anymore or what, but what I've seen from him in the first two rounds leaves plenty to be desired. Nevertheless, on the back of that freeze, even though he's down 5-3, he's very much gotten himself back into this game. Now, if this is a Boomgar, which I think there's a very high chance that it is, given the kind of team that Roro is playing and the presence of the Dugtrio, what we could see here is Thunderbolt, pop the sub, Surf, Hydro Pump, whatever, that does a bazillion to the Gengar, then it booms, then the Dougie follows up, and Crisis averted, which is something Shortage shouldn't allow to happen. Again, Shortage should just try to outplay here. What Shortage should do, get the attack off, Hydro Pump or Surf, let the Thunderbolt happen, and then switch something else into the obvious boom, and then still have the Coon to potentially sweep. Because I bet you the Coon is a huge, huge issue for Roro. So if Shortage can recognize that and just keep it safe, he can win on the back of this after getting the freeze with the Zapdos. But he needs to not walk into the obvious sequence here of what I just described. Attack, Thunderbolt. Interesting. Goes to his own Coon. That should be pretty safe here. I mean, unless it's last move Roar for Shortage. Ice Beam. He can't even freeze him because Zapdos is already frozen. Not liking this for Shortage. What is the plan here exactly? You're just begging to lose. You're going to Calm Mind up alongside the other Coon. You're going to run out of Hydro Pump PP. You can't freeze it. Even if he doesn't have Roar, you lose. And if he does have Roar, you super duper lose. I'm going to go ahead and call this game over. I think Shortage is really in trouble here. Never going to beat this other Coon. Never, ever, ever. What are we playing for? Are we going max boost Hydro Pump crit? That seems the only play that Shortage has at this point. And he's got 2 opportunities only to find it because of the PP and the pressure. So here we go. Shortage going to need... Why are we Ice Beaming? You can't freeze him. Is he trying to freeze? You can't. We have Freeze Claws. You can't do it. I don't get it. Not even clicking the right move. Did he forget that he froze the Zapdos? You can't freeze the Coon. Click Hydro Pump. Okay, well, he never even fishes for it, and he's dead, and now he's against a max boost Coon on the other side. And he concedes. I don't get it. I don't get it. Shortage has just not looked himself this tour. I guess, I don't know. He must have been, I knew that he had a quiet year up to this tournament. But if he must have been playing very little between then and now. He looks so crusty and out of shape and not in form. I mean, if this is the level of play that Shortage is bringing, I wouldn't have invited him to main event. I know that's harsh. I like the guy a lot, but I mean, this is a play-in player at best with the way that he's played these past 2 rounds. This is just not... This is not the ceiling that I know and have seen from him. And if something doesn't turn around really quickly, he's going to get 2-0'd in short order by Roro here. We've got a lead Lax in Game 2 for Shortage on the bottom. McMegan on the top with a Swampert. Shortage needs to get his head in it and figure something out. Protect just in case turn 1 boom. I like that play from Roro. A lot of the time Lax is going to do something like that there. You can also discover Focus Punch or some cheesy moves so you can get some information as well. Milo comes in, pretty hard counter to Pert. And man, Shortage has a clear plan here. You know what? Roro's better than me. I'm not playing very well in this tournament. Let's Hypnosis the guy out. That's one way to do it. I mean, you might as well try to sleep BS him, right? He does land Hypnosis this time, unlike those 2 unlucky misses that he had in the previous game against the Zapdos. But Hypnosis connecting this time is going to be against Starmie. And both of them taking a moment. Starmie could just sit in here. I mean, what are you worried about? What's Milo going to do to you? Unless he's worried about Shortage switching in something threatening, but... I mean, from Roro, it's tricky to switch because you don't want to get something else hit with Hypnosis. Or Toxic if it happens to be dual status Milo, but that's an old set that is damn close to extinct these days. Both of them really pausing on this turn 3. Shortage knows that he can't hurt the Starmie, so he's figuring out what he can switch in. And in Roro's case, he's really hesitant because he doesn't want something dangerous to switch in, but he also doesn't want to risk getting something else hit with Hypnosis should Shortage simply click that again. Man, this is a pretty involved turn 3 apparently. Neither one wants to give up the early momentum. Roro doesn't want to switch a Realmon into Hypnosis, and Shortage does not want to stay in and just surf the Starmie and have it go nowhere, and or switch in something intended to hurt the Starmie that actually puts him in a bad matchup because Roro switched in something better. Interesting. Man, I mean, I understand what they're thinking about, but I never would have imagined that it would take this amount of time for both of them, too. It isn't just one of them. They're actually both thinking about it, which I appreciate the effort. I appreciate that they both care and that they're both really thinking it through, but I never would have imagined that it takes a minute and a half to have this turn, especially when you're Roro and you have a Blissey in the back that you don't give a shit if that gets Hypnosis. So I don't get why that took as long as it did, but here we are. So Hypnosis going to miss and then hit. Sure, Blissey doesn't care. He could just go back and forth between Blissey and Starmie as long as he needs to, both of which wall the Milo indefinitely until Shortage manages to kill one of those Pokemon. The Milotic as an offensive threat is effectively useless. It is still good defensively against things like the Swampert, but until you remove either the Starmie or the Blissey, Milo will never hurt anything. So T-Wave and Curse being traded here. +1 Paralyzed Lax. Wonderful opportunity to just click Body Slam or make a prediction with Earthquake or Shadow Ball or whatever. I would not self-destruct here from Shortage. If I have that, there's just no need to. You're at full health. Make a prediction. Earthquake. Well, don't know if he would have gone for it or not because full para kicked in, but that would have been a wonderful time to try it. He does have Earthquake, and he does go for it here. Roro fishing for para flinch nonsense with Rock Slide, 39% despite the defense boost from the Curse. And he's back to meta here, which I agree with from Shortage. A lot of the time that doesn't go your way. You get parried, you get crit, you get flinched. Might as well avoid that and switch in a nice safe rock resist. So meta comes in on the slide, which I also agree with. I think Roro should have gone for it there. And meta presumably forces him out here. This would be an interesting time to boom, because Swampert probably comes in, or booming on Starmie there actually would have worked out great as well. Roro takes the middle ground approach to be very safe, does not want his Swampert to get boomed on, which is why he went for Starmie there. Now Lax comes in, takes a Surf. This is a tricky turn now for Roro. I mean, self-destruct, right? But, like, what if he doesn't? What if he just Earthquakes again? Roro does it right. He goes to the 4 there. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Who cares if it gets Earthquaked? And if it gets boomed, that's okay, too. It does end up being boom, and that's going to lead to a follow-up trap and trade via the Magneton. Leads us to a 5-on-5 with Unrevealeds on the back for both. Little better this game for Shortage. Not perfect, but definitely better than some of the other games that I've seen him play. All that being said, I don't know that he's going to win this game, but we're in it for sure. Blissey is interesting now. Not a fantastic switch anymore for Shortage with the Lax down. If the Milo has Refresh, we know it has Hypnosis. If it has Refresh, then that's probably completely safe against the Bliss. If it does not, which it very well may not on this kind of aggressive team, it's very well just might be, I mean, it's going to have Surf and Recover, obviously, so last move could be Refresh, but I think it's actually probably Ice Beam on this kind of aggressive team. Well, he goes to Milo, so maybe it is Refresh, and it is just S-Toss, but if you don't have Refresh, you obviously are not super fond of getting the Milo hit with T-Wave, or even worse, Toxic. But he's really not scared. He just goes for Hypnosis, which I don't think I love. I like Recover there because, yeah, now you're inviting this or a Thunderbolt or whatever it may be. So he gets Thunder Waved, which gives him Marvel Scale. And we don't know. Maybe he went for Refresh there, but full para. Certainly he will refresh this away if he has the option to do so. And he's going to go for Hypnosis, which is now basically an actual coin flip, since he has the 60-40 base accuracy and the 1 in 4 chance to randomly get fully paralyzed. Really stubborn here, Shortage. Gonna stick it out. Hypnosis again, it connects now. I don't get the upside of this. Even when you connect, who cares? He'll just go back and forth indefinitely between Starmie and Blissey. What are we trying to accomplish here? If you're Shortage, I don't understand. I mean, granted, the Starmie hurts the Milo basically 0, and the Bliss, like, would need a string of 3 or something full paras to kill him with S-tosses, so, like, Roro's stuff is not a threat either. The key difference, though, is that Roro can just switch, whereas every time Milo does something, it's actually using PP. So, like, the Milo's getting drained. The Starmie and the Blissey, who cares? They're totally fine. I don't get the plan here for Shortage. I don't get why he's not doubling at some point and trying to create some momentum. I don't understand where he thinks this is going to go. He can never kill either poke. All you're doing is wasting Milo PP. You will not out PP the Blissey and the Starmie this way. You just won't. And he keeps going Hypnosis, but who cares? Even if it hits, I don't understand. I don't know what the hell the last move would be either. If it's Refresh, why hasn't he done it? If it's Toxic, why hasn't he done it? Hell, if it's Ice Beam, why hasn't he done it? Might as well fish for a damn freeze. Here's the Starmie, and there's a full para. I don't know who wins this game. There's still unrevealeds for both, and the meta could be a threat, and back, Mence or Tar or whatever for Shortage could be a threat. And this game could still go either way. So, like, I'm not ruling Shortage out, but I do not understand what the plan is here. What are we working towards? What is the goal? This will and has accomplished nothing. I don't get it. What are we doing? What are we working towards? You will never, ever, 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 ever beat the Bliss Starmie like this. You just can't. It mathematically cannot, will not happen. Well, a couple paras in a row. Now Shortage has gotten his Milo in trouble from his greed. If he gets fully paralyzed again, Milo's in trouble. He gets a recover off, but... man. I don't want to be a broken record. I don't like being a negative guy, especially in this tournament. In my narrations, I mean, anyone in Kalos Invitational is a good player, and just, you don't want to criticize them too much, but I don't have much new to say. It's been this matchup, the Milo against the Starmie and the Bliss, for 24 turns now, and it's absolutely pointless and go nowhere for Shortage, but he's insistent on continuing down this road. Here's the Bliss and the recover. Man, wake me up when September ends, which is ironic because we are in September, but it might take till October to resolve this if we keep going at this pace. Ugh. Well, I'm going to play Clash Royale on my phone. You guys just let me know when Shortage figures out that this isn't going anywhere and we move on to the next stage of the battle. I'll be here. Got my P.E.K.K.A. battering ram deck that I've used for a long time. I also experiment with the P.E.K.K.A. Ram Rider here. I'm at about 6,600 right now. Climb that ladder. Fucking killing me, Shortage. A switch? Oh my god. He knows how to click that button. There is the Zapdos switch. Alright. The Sunny Day Zapdos. Oh, just kidding. Back to my Lotic. Ugh. What are we doing? I mean, Roro was just mindlessly switching back and forth between the Blissey and the Starmie and recovering as needed. This is something an 1100 ladder player could do. This is not high level or advanced play. It's not complicated. He's switching back and forth between two Pokemon while Shortage does a whole lot of nothing and beats himself. T-Wave landing on meta here, so Shortage finally, after 10 years of this nonsense, attempts to get the meta in as the Bliss comes in. This whole 40 turn loop of nonsense was just to try to set up the meta on the Bliss eventually, and he doesn't even do it. He gets the meta in on a T-Wave. This is brutal. And there's the full power. Man, I don't actually love the Swampert switch there because I think there's a good chance he was just going to blow up, but doesn't get the opportunity. There's the roar. Here's the meta again. Interesting for Roro. He has the opportunity to like really keep the tempo here. And yeah, looks like, I mean, that might have been a blow-up turn that Roro would have gotten outplayed on if not for the full para. We know that he's got Protect. We saw it on turn 1. There's the Magneton, and not going to risk that. Hidden Power, and he stays in and does it, which makes me think that it is HP Grass, but maybe he thought he was going to get roared out, and he might as well do something on the way out, but it probably really is HP Grass. Roro almost lost his Pert a couple of times there. He switched it in on a full para and then kept it in and roared also on a full para. In both of those cases, he could have gotten blown up on, which he really doesn't seem too deterred by, so maybe he doesn't think the Pert is that valuable in this matchup, but Shortage has gotten unlucky a couple of times there because I think he missed opportunities to explode. And we're back to this. There we go. Mission accomplished. He gets the meta in on the Bliss. Can he capitalize? Boom. No. Psychic. Not bad. Little over a third to the Pert. EQ. Boom. And full power. Frustrating for Shortage. I mean, I've criticized his play, but in this case, he's gotten full parried with the meta against the Pert 3 separate times, and on none of those turns, Roro went for Protect. So all 3 of those he could have blown. So to be fair to Shortage, he has gotten unlucky in that regard. He gets the Zapdos in on EQ. This would be, I mean, I don't know what the set is because he has Sunny Day, but if he has Baton Pass or HP Grass, or ideally both, this would be a great opportunity to get some momentum. Goes Thunder Wave. So that now rules out. He obviously can't have both HP Grass and Baton Pass on the back. I mean, unless he doesn't have Thunderbolt, but come on. So he goes Thunder Wave a second time into the Pert, which is cool. Requires some prediction. Magneton coming in. Not sure what that was trying to catch exactly, but it doesn't beat the Bliss, I know that. This has been a weird game. I certainly don't agree with or fully understand the plays on either side. As a whole, as expected, Roro has probably played the better overall game, the tighter overall game, though he has repeatedly risked his Swampert. But all things considered, I don't follow his plays, and the vast majority of the time when I'm watching these games, whether I agree with a play or don't agree with a play, I understand what the players are doing and why they did what they did and what they're working towards. This is not one of those times. I don't understand where Shortage is trying to go with this, but at this point, I would note that the Blissey seems like a real issue. Milo never beats the Bliss. Mag never beats the Bliss. This weird Sunny Day Zapdos, or really any Zapdos, but certainly this Zapdos does not beat the Bliss. The meta maybe kind of sort of did at one point, but like it's at 26% and paralyzed with a spike down. So I'm not sure how much longer meta's going to be around. And yeah, I mean, and obviously there's the one poke in the back, the unrevealed, but this whole team, now that the Lax is dead, seems really walled and boned by the Bliss. And what are you going to do about that? So we wait. I mean, you might as well keep the Magneton in now, right? I mean, if it comes in later, it dies to the spike. So I guess you get a parting shot. I guess you Thunderbolt before you die. I don't think I like this team very much for Shortage. The Sunny Day makes me think that it's like Last Poke Hera or something for him. I mean, why else do we care about changing the weather? The lead Lax was not Curse Rest. So what other reason do we have to want to go Sunny Day and get rid of the sand? Here's the meta. Might as well get some value. Can he finally get a boom off? Here's T-Tar. Man, that meta has not been able to get off of its wheelchair. It's been paralyzed 5, 6 times. Unlucky for Shortage for sure. I don't know that he would win the game anyway if those things haven't occurred. But the bad luck definitely doesn't help. Definitely makes it harder. And again, that could be a relevant para. Blowing on the low health T-Tar isn't ideal, but if it is Last Poke Hera, then it actually changes quite a bit because you would have killed the T-Tar and therefore killed the sand. Then Zapdos would have gotten a Sunny Day off at some point. Then your Last Poke reversal Hera that I'm envisioning, or some kind of similar Hera, possibly could have swept Roro here. But now the T-Tar is still alive, and the ability to make sand is still alive. And I think unless Roro punts and gets rid of his T-Tar, which he doesn't have a reason to do, Shortage is boned, and he agrees. He doesn't even go for it. He doesn't even show his Last Poke. So we do not get confirmation if I was right or wrong. I suspect Heracross, possibly Last Poke Coon, but Shortage is just going to concede. And yeah, I mean, he didn't win a game. He went 0-4 in this tournament. I don't want to kick a guy while he's down. I don't want to be too harsh on him on the way out. He didn't look good this year. It's as simple as that. Like I said, I don't know if it's just rust or not playing as much or hasn't played in a while since he was like really in his heyday and doing well last year, but did not look like the same guy that we saw last year. Last year he went 2-2. It looked like he easily could have gone 3-1 or 4-0 had the luck been a little better, and he looked like someone who could have been a contender with a little bit better RNG. This year, no way. Like I said, the way that he played this year, I don't even know. Maybe I would have invited him to play-ins. I don't know what happened, but I'm disappointed. Either way, Shortage going to go out with an ugly 0-4 in this Kalos Invitational, and Roro, the expected winner, does in fact win and will continue on in Kalos Invitational. He's going to be in the lower bracket, which, he never get out of once you're in it, but he could still win the whole damn tour, and he's obviously one of the strongest players, so keep an eye on him. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There'll be lots more matches. People are Johns. Everybody's playing on Sunday. I will see you guys in the next video.